welcome. I don't have the good morning Vietnam.
No, you know what? That was good enough.
Thank you.
Actually,
Thank you. I
it was
appreciate
pretty
that.
impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Appreciate that. Robin Williams was one of my favorite people ever. He was the first comedy album I ever had that I wore out was Robin Williams' Night at the Metropolitan Opera House, and I could probably do the entire thing. My first.
Is that the one where he does like the Scottish thing?
No, when he talks about
he
God.
Talks about golf. Oh,
no. I don't know. I know the one. No. Yeah. Where he talks about golf. He goes, "Let's put a gopher hole."
Yeah.
Use a stick. Yeah. You think God gets stoned? Look at a platypus. I think you might. Let's take a beaver, put it in a spill. But hello, folks. Welcome. As you can see, we are missing a member of the squad. Poor Biz. He had his girlfriend asked him if he saw the Army Hammer documentary, and he said no. So she said, "Let's go to Tractor Supply," and
they're searching for rope.
Yes. Well, I mean, they search for the rope, and
candles,
unfortunately,
all that.
Unfortunately, Biz didn't watch our show on Sunday about it, so he had no idea. And let's all pray that he makes a speedy recovery with his legs, and he might be missing an arm when he comes back. But anyway,
we don't know how he's going to be doing mentally.
Said something about a cattle prod, and I don't know. Something on his toes. Yeah. But yeah, so it's just me and Mama J today. Mama J, how are you?
Yes, I'm doing good. I feel like I just saw you. It was just yesterday.
I know. These people who do radio every day have to look at each other every day, and they're just like, "Hi, how are you again?"
Yeah, man.
But it's fun, you get in here, you talk some shit, and then, I'm hoping that we can end up doing that, talking shit for a couple hours a day, going and enjoying ourselves on a beach or something like that. It'd be nice.
I talk to you, Biz, and Jack more than anyone in my family, like every day. Yeah. We're always messing each other something stupid.
Yeah, well, listen, I believe God puts friends in your life to apologize for the family members that he took out of your life. So,
Yeah.
So it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will be joined by the Pretty Patriot in a few moments. She is stuck in traffic because she lives in the East Coast. So, I mean, traffic, I haven't seen any of that in long time, and I am happy about that. I am so happy.
I haven't really seen it either. Where I'm at, like, all you do is take back roads. There really isn't. Yeah.
The major thoroughfares here, even if there's traffic, even if there's one lane, there's two lanes, one lane's closed, no traffic still, and I'm like,
that's weird. Huh.
In Jersey, if there's 4 lanes and one lane's closed, you got traffic for miles.
Yeah, and you always got that person that like goes to like the limit and their bumper is almost touching the cone to get over, and then everyone else is like, "Fuck you, bro!" And they keep going and going and going. Yeah,
I learned not to do that here because I did that when I first got here. I was doing that, and Trish is like, that's not. Don't do that. You don't have to. You don't have to do it. Every once in a while, I'll do it, but like for the most part, I've stopped. Like I've actually move over. Like I stopped the other day, like a funeral procession was coming, and I pulled over, and some lady I guess was in a rush, so she passed me, but the people behind me all stopped, and I was like, wow, I am becoming
no one
Midwest.
tells you the proper predicate. Like I don't even think they teach you on the driver's test the proper etiquette for funeral processions.
No, I don't think it's in the book. But
I don't think so either.
But
it's the scariest thing, being like middle car in a funeral procession. I had to do it a few years ago, and I was in somewhere in on the outskirts of Philly. I had no idea where I was going or anything, and it was a little difficult to keep up.
I mean, listen, in Jersey, there's people who actually get in the funeral procession just so they can stay along with them, and like, or if there's a funeral procession going, people will like get over and then get over to the next lane. They won't just let them go. But like,
you see them going in their center console, seeing what color flag everyone's got, and they stick it out there on their own.
They all got different color flags. Like, okay, this is orange. You got the orange one? Yeah, I got the orange one.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Oh man, but they actually stop like traffic and stuff. It's pretty nice. It's it's what you're supposed to do.
Supposed to do.
Yeah, someone's lifeless body is just taking a journey, and and you're just like, hey, what up, Rich?
Hey, Bob.
And yes, Bob, Jersey sucks. I know. That's why I'm here.
Yes, 3 former New Jerseyans.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's I wanted to start with this clip because the mainstream media we know is just trash. Mainstream media is just trash. And now they want you to believe, after what happened in all the other elections. In 2016, Democrat after Democrat came up and said that Donald Trump was illegitimate. They didn't want to certify the electors, everything like that. Mm-hmm. But now it's a different story. And this is Trump's lawyer. And what he says makes absolute sense. Like,
the president was told, given advice that under these circumstances, the state legislatures have the ultimate ability to qualify electors. He followed that advice. Now, you may disagree as to whether or not those things actually occurred or not. That's why we have political debate. We don't have criminal trials over that. We have the discussion like we're just having.
If those things actually occurred or not, John.
Not under the First Amendment.
It matters if those things actually occurred because...
Not at all, because under the First Amendment,
there was actually fraud.
No, the First Amendment allows.
But John, let me stop you there, because if he's saying that there was fraud, the First Amendment doesn't allow the President of the United States to go and claim there was fraud when he was told there was not fraud, and then try to subvert the election by overturning legitimate elections.
You see what they do? You see what they do? He said that it's a part of the first, and then she goes, well, then he's not allowed to subvert the election because of it.
The election was over, bitch.
Exactly. How is he going to subvert the election? Oh, and Mike Pence is a piece of shit. Mike Pence is a piece of shit.
Don't even.
We'll get into that one.
I mean, it says it right here in the actual indictment.
Absolutely. The First Amendment protects all speech. If we're going to have a situation where the Department of Justice is going to fact check politicians and indict politicians for political speech and whether or not they're factually accurate, then this country will shut down politically, because it's a never-ending cycle of tit for tat. And that's the risk of injecting politics into the criminal justice system. So right now, people disagree with President Trump. What's going to happen 4 years from now if somebody disagrees with President Biden?
Yeah, you're right.
I tell you.
Adam Schiff would have been arrested a while ago.
Yeah.
And every Democrat that stepped up during the 2016 election would be in jail. And you're setting a bad precedent when you say things like that.
I felt kind of like an idiot because I was like, I knew Trump got indicted twice, but I kept forgetting what the other indictment was for. I didn't know. I'm like, what was it for? And I was like, over January 6th.
Oh, the impeachment or?
The second impeachment of Donald Trump in 2020 was for January 6th.
It was?
Yes.
Holy crap. I totally forgot. I was like, the Ukraine.
I completely forgot. I know. I kept saying Ukraine. And then what else? And what else? What? And it was January 6th. So he already got found not guilty or whatever in the impeachment for January 6th. So what does this indictment do?
Nothing.
And it's funny because I wanted to call her Katie Tur, and it's not Katie Tur. It's Caitlin Collins. And as I said before, she looks like the poor man still in Mulvaney. I'm sorry.
She's got no expression on her face. She's just like, well,
yeah.
You can't say that, can you? You're not allowed to say. She got boosted. So
Well,
you're
the
saying
thing is, double boosted. No, um, no, I was listening to, different things during the day today about the indictment and everything, and one thing that people consistently have brought up is that in I think it was the third paragraph on the second page of the indictment, it talks in Jack Smith's indictment, it talks about, it says here, I'll just bring it up so y'all
Okay.
can see it. I'm sure everyone's heard it, but you know what? I'm gonna go over it again. So suck it. Okay. So here we go. It says the defendant had a right, like every American, to speak publicly about the election and even to claim falsely that there had been outcome determinative fraud during the election that he had won. He was also entitled to formally challenge the results of the election through lawful and appropriate means, such as by keeping recounts or audits of the popular vote in states or filing lawsuits challenging ballots and procedures. Indeed, in many cases, the defendant did pursue these methods of contesting the election results. His efforts to change the outcome in any state, though, through recounts, audits, or legal challenges were uniformly unsuccessful. But I don't get it.
No, it makes no sense. This is what I was saying yesterday. Like, they're just throwing things, and just to say, like, twice impeached. That's all it is. It's just a talking point. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, here's the justification. It says each of these conspiracies, the three that he, like the conspiracy to defraud the United States, using dishonesty, fraud, and deceit to impair, obstruct, or defeat the lawful federal. Okay. Anyway, so all of them, there was like the conspiracy against the rights of the vote for voters, blah blah, and obstructing or impeding a official proceeding or something. So each of these conspiracies, which built on the widespread mistrust the defendant was creating through pervasive and destabilizing lies about election fraud, targeted a bedrock function of the United States federal government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
So you're gonna have to break that down. What is
okay. Sorry, let me bring it back up. So basically what he's saying is that these conspiracies, the reason for this indictment is because Donald Trump was extremely pervasive in creating mistrust in the election process, which is the bedrock of the United States government, right?
Yeah.
And he's basically saying because this guy said that there was voter fraud, people got mad. And it's his fault that people got mad because he told him that there was voter fraud. That's it. That's what it is.
I'm trying to find a video that kind of explains. I thought it was on this account. It might be on the Business Network. But some guy was saying that basically the conspiracy part of it is just the government's way of just throwing that at you just so they can blanket it. It's just a blanket charge. So that way normal everyday people who don't have the money to go against the government, they just take the plea deal because they don't have enough. Once again, the government who has the infinite amount of money, who has, that they take from us, can hire as many lawyers as they can, take as much time as they want to, draw this out as much, where you don't, the normal person. So they were saying that since they threw the conspiracy, that's all they're trying to do. But I am still under the impression that what they're trying to do is bankrupt Donald Trump so he doesn't have any money to run or he doesn't have any money to do anything. And that's the end goal of what they're trying to do. And it's disgusting. It's really disgusting that's where we're coming to, where they're going to try to bankrupt people, in order to get what they want.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, yeah, that's why a lot of people plea out, and other thing that I saw somewhere, and I think they said it was on like page 33 of the indictment, is when they talk about Mike Pence taking contemporaneous notes about meetings and stuff about the election. But the thing is, though, too, is that they're saying that co-conspirators of his are his attorneys. So you're telling me that because he talked to his attorney about something that he could do because of the craziness that happened on election day and the weeks afterwards of, in Philadelphia, because I was right there, of people not being able to see like others doing the ballot count, or in and I think it was in Detroit where they're putting up the barrier so people couldn't watch. Like that's a real concern, that people had. And so I guess, I would assume that a legal advice would be like, hey, you have to fight this in court. And what no one talks about is like, they're like, oh, he lost all of his court cases. Like that dude said in this fucking indictment. But what they don't tell you is that none of them actually went to any type of trial or discovery or anything like that. They just threw it out without even looking at it. So, I mean,
and most of them, from what I hear, wasn't even him. It was other people who were fighting against, the electorates. Like it wasn't even Donald Trump's.
But now that's a conspiracy, right? Well, because there's more. Because if you're talking about it with more than one person, or I mean, if you have an online forum where like multiple people say, "Hey, we're gonna all send this letter to an attorney general," it's a conspiracy. You were conspiring in the real term of what it means is working together to do what a specific result or whatever.
Yeah,
that's why it's a bullshit.
Well, you mean this? This piece of shit taking notes. Who said this?
Let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they asked for a pause. The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives, and literally chaos would have ensued. Let's be clear.
Just so there wasn't any chaos or fairness or anything like that, I'm just not going to do it. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I don't know. I mean, when he was talking to Tucker Carlson, you could see he was a bag of shit, and now with that, he's even a bigger piece of shit. Because like I said, when he was talking to Tucker Carlson, he's like, "People, I'm gonna shut up." Yeah, dude. Nobody likes you.
You know what? And the reason why I'm upset is because there were so many irregularities in the whole process of the election, and it's like, I have questions, but I'm not allowed to have any questions. And that's the part that pisses me off. It's just like, well, it's kind of weird that you said that there was a water main break in a facility, but there wasn't?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
what happened?
And then they started the count again. And then all of a sudden in the middle of the night, it just shot up that he was, that it was him now that was the winner. It's like you don't want me to question any of this?
Well, and I also have questions because of this article.
Yep.
Remember this one? It's the secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election. I bring this article up maybe once every quarter, maybe a little bit less, because it's an important article from the Time magazine, and it talks about, by Molly Ball. It was published in February 4th of 2021, and it talks about how these interest groups work together to go to specific states and their legislatures to coerce them into changing like their laws, like are their election like
election
laws
laws
or whatever.
Yeah, the way people received, ballots without asking for them.
Right.
Multiple people getting ballots of people that, because we all know the registries are just are effed. Living here, you see people moving in and out all the time, and you want to tell me that the registries are good, and like they move in and out of the same apartments like 3 or 4 times, and they're here, they're there, they're here, they're there, and you want to tell me that they can actually get the registry correct? And they just went, no, they just went, here you go, now you can vote.
Yeah.
And,
no, I know.
And not for nothing, once again, Sunny Houston said she had to vote for her son.
Yeah.
Admitted it on television that she voted for her son.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me that there's nothing sketchy. Once again, I think Tim Pool was absolutely correct. He said there wasn't election fraud. What happened was all these people they went door to door. Did you vote? No? Just fill this out and then just give it to me and I'll take it for you. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
And they just collected votes, and then they just gave them in, and they were just like, hey, what makes you think that the people like, oh, how many ballots do you have? Oh, okay, if you got multiple, just sign this, fill this out, do this, do that. That article, like I said, I'm so surprised that it's still around, that it hasn't been washed off the internet, because, at the times.
The second that it came out, I yelled at my husband. I was like, get off the computer. I need to print this out. I was like, I'm saving that shit, because it's a very long article. It is. Yeah. But I highly suggest that everybody reads it, because if you see it, how everyone talked about like Russian collusion and how the Russians used social media companies and blah, blah, blah in 2016. In this freaking article, it talks about these PACs that would go and talk to like Mark Zuckerberg and his wife's foundation. And they would talk to social media heads about like different campaign stuff that they wanted pushed through this. And I'm like, I'm sure that there's other campaigns that try and do it, but the way that they explained it in here, you're just like, seriously? And I'm not saying that everything that in the article is like bad. I'm sure everyone does that stuff, but there were certain things that you're like, hold up a second, like different PACs being made and then all of a sudden disappearing, like all these like groups and stuff. I'm sure that happens all the time, but I don't know. But I just think that's strange.
But and not even that, like you were saying, and they were hiding the votes. Like they were hiding. Like, when have you ever heard that to happen? Yeah. I've never heard anybody putting up poster boards so you couldn't see. Like, that is against the rule. Just it's against like
they can't do that. Actually, it's against voter laws and stuff. That because it has to be transparent, because the process has to be transparent.
Yeah.
Because it's the people's vote.
Yeah. So you want to sit there and tell me that there was nothing.
Oh, and I put the link to the article in the chat. I go back to this article so many times. Like, it's one of those forgotten things, and I'm like, I don't know how people can just not
really
read it all the time.
You really don't think listen, people forgot that they tried to censor Robert F. Kennedy at a hearing about censorship like a week ago. People are like, that never happened. Yeah, that never happened. But I mean,
it happened within the first 10 minutes of the hearing.
But and right here we even have Van Jones, Mr. Nothing Burger himself, talking about it, about the about Trump being allowed to. I don't know if this was recently or back in 2016, but I'll let him speak for himself.
Vice President, federal law says all election disputes at the state level need to be wrapped up by December 8th so the electors can cast their ballots on December the 14th. Now, each state governor has got to certify the electors' votes and then send them on to Congress. So the results aren't official until the new Congress counts those ballots on January the 6th. Now, it's usually a straightforward process, but let's say one of the candidates questions the legitimacy of the state's count. The governor could choose not to certify the electors' votes, or, though this is really unlikely, the state legislature could decide to contest the election and send a different count to Congress, meaning Congress could end up with no results or with competing results from the same state. Now, that's a violation of federal law, so Congress would no longer have to honor that state's electors at all. Now, the House and the Senate can then decide which result is valid or throw out the votes from that state altogether. Now, I know you think I'm crazy, but this actually happened. It was 1876, shortly after the Civil War. Samuel Tilden won the popular vote, but there were 19 electoral votes in dispute. Congress had to step in and broker a compromise. Rutherford Hayes was eventually named president in exchange for the end of Reconstruction and the withdrawal of federal troops from the South. Here's where things get even more interesting. If a candidate still doesn't have a majority of electoral votes by the end of this process, the 12th Amendment says the House of Representatives decides who will be president, and each state delegation gets one vote. The Senate picks a vice president. No matter what happens, somebody has got to take the oath of office on January 20th.
So help me God.
If both the president and the vice president are still undecided, the Speaker of the House temporarily gets that job.
So it's right. He has the right. They have the right to not certify.
Mm-hmm.
Abel's just trying to be. No one needs the First Amendment. Only fascist right-wing nuts.
Of course.
The first. Listen, you're lucky you still have yours, okay, pal? Anyway, but yeah, it. But nobody wants to. That's the. I don't know. I'm speechless. I really am, because it's so stupid.
Let me bring this up, because I was thinking to myself, I was like, I remember in 2016, Jill Stein called for a recount in Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, I thought it was like the Hillary campaign kind of pressured her into doing it. And then like they stopped in the middle of doing the recount because Trump was getting more votes than he had gotten the previous count. But these were the articles that were out like around this time. And this one kind of got me. Well, okay, so it's just like Jill Stein explains the rationale of Michigan recount request, talks about the recount. It's Clinton joined to join the recount. Trump called a scam. And then there was, where was it? It was just here.
See?
It said that the reason for the recount could show that there was errors in the Michigan. Hold up a second. Hold on.
Abel makes a fair point. To be fair, I identified as a woman for us, so I already don't have the right to speak or vote.
Where did it say it?
Facts. Yeah, I mean, I told you. See? They're just taking stuff out. It was just literally there.
It was literally just right here. Hold on. Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay, sorry. And it says a computer science professor from the University of Michigan explains how a Michigan recount followed by Jill Stein's campaign could reveal tampering with voting machines. And and they were talking about this on November 30th of 2016, but it was because Trump won. Yeah. So,
and
like reverse it, whatever. I don't know.
Flip, reverse it. But yeah, it's all because he won, and they don't want him in there. They don't want him. And I forget who I was talking to, and I said, if he did nothing,
mm-hmm.
he opened people's eyes to how dirty the government really is. Like how.
Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, just that. I was just going to reiterate that part.
Okay. Well, you had to say it twice because it's very important.
Davey 2 times over here.
Well, I was just going to say, like, the major part of what I'm talking about, though, is like what we're now not allowed to question the integrity of elections, but it was completely fine to do it prior to 2016 or 2020. Like, you could do it up, down, up, front, center, whatever, and then 2020, for some magical reason, you're not allowed to do it after we just went through like a historical pandemic, and it was like the craziest thing that has happened in modern time. And we can't question if there's like some irregularities or things that we want to be like, hey, that doesn't seem right.
No, you're not allowed to. I mean, listen, you're not allowed to question the government. And it's getting worse and worse, and the people
with this indictment, it's just like, oh, well, he can question it, but if other people agree that there was election fraud, then he's inciting them. And he's being it's like, what?
It's so stupid. Like, you're supposed to what obsessed me is like the same people who were talking about questioning everything just years ago are now talking about don't question everything. Don't question anything. Just do what the government tells you to do. And it's like, I mean,
it's par for the course with them, though. Me too. Don't question them. Don't question it, what. It's her truth. It's your truth. You can't question your truth. Well, my truth is that you guys are full of shit. You can't question my truth.
Speaking of her truth, do you see that poor Justin Trudeau?
I did.
After 18 years of being married, his wife finally realized how big of a piece of shit he really is.
Yeah.
And she's leaving. She's leaving him.
It's because he wanted to go out the house for the 4th time in blackface, and she refused. And he just got really mad and said, "You know what? It's over. Ghosts."
What the hell was that noise?
It was one of your hats fell off.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Gorilla Tape really doesn't work as good as it's advertised. Dude, my heart is racing right now. I have no idea what that was.
My heart would definitely be my butt right now if I were you.
Did you also see today? Rich sent it. Actual Justice Warrior was talking to Sam Cedar.
Oh yeah, I did see. I saw it when he was live, but I didn't push on it.
I was
kids for a round.
I watched it for a few, and Sam Cedar is annoying. He's so annoying because I believe his name is Sean. Actual Justice Warrior's name is Sean, and like Sean, Sam Cedar goes, "Oh, so you're whatchamacallit? You're a legal scholar or about law," and he's like, "No, I have 2 degrees in criminal justice, but I'm not a legal scholar." He's like, "No, so, well, you must know a lot about the law. Then you should know if you got 2 degrees." It's like, and then they were going back and forth about the crime, and he's like, "Well, you said you wanted to debate me on the crime in New York and whatnot, so go ahead." And it's like, you're just about a piece of shit.
Was he like puffed up like?
Listen, he can't even. He's like this. He's a dork. Sam Cedar is a dork. I said it. Come get me.
Well, I mean, we are living in the age of Revenge of the Nerds, so I say it all the time.
Yeah,
we're living in Revenge of the Nerds.
We really are, and they're just they've taken over everything. And it was funny because I was having this conversation with Cody, and we were talking about because he was getting into Project Bluebeam, and he's like, "Oh, Dad, you see this Project Bluebeam?" And I was talking, and we were talking. He's like, "We're talking about billionaires and millionaires," and I'm like, "Yeah, a lot of billionaires, are self-made for the most part. They've started their own companies and done all this stuff, but there's some people that got into it, and it's a lot about who you know and not what you know." And And I was telling him, he's like, yeah, like Mark Zuckerberg, who invented Facebook, right? I'm like, no, Mark Zuckerberg stole Facebook from the Winklevoss twins and then was just like, here, I'll give you some money. And then just like Bill Gates, who stole Microsoft because they were quicker to patent this stuff.
IBM.
Yeah. And before everybody else. So they kind of took it from people. So yeah, those kind of people, they're kind of scumbags because they kind of profited off of everybody else's, and they're like, I'll give you this, but and the government is just filled with those kind of fucking people. And I'm trying to tell them that's the same way the government is. It's not. I'm sick and tired of hearing, well, you don't want Trump in because he's not a politician. You want to Why? Nobody ever said.
Why would you want a politician in anyway?
Why would you want somebody who's been in there for years and family? You talk about these colleges who give scholarships to these kids whose families have been in there for years, but you're okay with allowing the government to do that. You're allowing the government, like this sorry sack of nonsense, who's Adam Schiff's butt buddy, talking about, where is it? Talking about the Joe Biden and the Biden crime family, and he just makes excuse after excuse, and it's just like, but it's not really what the way people are saying it is. Shut up. If this was Trump, you'd be screaming. And I'm sick and tired of people who are like, well, if Biden did what Trump did, Biden did worse. Biden's doing worse than what Trump is doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, there's no proof because the government doesn't go after you just because you murdered somebody, just because you're a Kennedy and murdered some girl and then left and was like, well, I don't know what happened.
Left her in the trunk of a car, rolled her down into a fucking lake. I mean.
Just because, OJ, if the
but
glove
she was
don't
a
fit,
prostitute, so who cares?
Oh, nobody cares about lot lizards. But this guy is.
Never heard that term before.
You've never heard a lot lizard?
No.
Yeah, they're the girls at truck stops to go around and the prostitutes of the lot. But this guy,
gosh.
Watch him do gymnastics with this. He's.
Sure, Joe Biden did.
Underneath his eyes.
Look at that face. That's never a face. His wife. If he has a wife, it's not enjoyable. It's not enjoyable.
Oh.
Received millions of dollars in bribes from Ukraine, and yes, he did receive millions of dollars in bribes from China. But come on, people. It's not like he showered with his daughter Ashley when she was a small child. It's not like he.
It's a fake.
It is a fake.
That's
I got
really
the fake
funny.
one.
I know that's really funny though.
I got. Yeah. But okay. So speaking of Ashley, did you see what Project Veritas got?
No.
Oh, I want to see the whole thing.
Oh, but did you see that Biden's sister endorsed Meghan Markle for president?
His sister wife?
What do you mean his sister wife?
Remember on the stage where he goes, "This is my wife and this is my sister," and he pointed to the wrong people.
Yeah, his sister wife.
I saw this and I was like, "Holy!" If this is true, once again, we don't know because it's a phone call, whatnot. But
right,
holy mackerel!
At this point, and I don't mean to, I don't want to have to get Secret Service involved in this, right? Because it's a whole process. But I am Ashley Biden. It is my stuff. So if you could just give all of that over, I would really appreciate it. I know you sent a picture to my husband with a camera and a few other things that are mine as well. So that would be really great. Where is a good place for him to meet you?
So if that's true, that's really her diary.
Well, it was really her diary. Remember, like a few years ago when James O'Keefe got raided by the FBI? and the FBI took his phone and all that other stuff. And he had gotten, apparently the story is that National File had the diary first. They had given the diary over to Project Veritas. Veritas wanted to confirm that it really was her diary first before they wrote anything or said anything about it. And so they reached out to Ashley Biden's lawyers and said, hey, we have this. Is it hers? Yada, yada. And then not so long after, James O'Keefe's place was raided and some of his journalists' place were raided. Their phones were taken and all that stuff.
But it's a conspiracy.
So maybe this is actually like footage of what they got before they were going to release stuff before they got raided.
Maybe. I mean, it still
and they
said
just held on to it.
It still said Project Veritas. So, yeah, it's probably kind of old, but they keep once again. This is why I don't understand why people just trust the government blindly.
Yeah,
because everything happens and then they come out. How many times did Joe Biden say he had nothing to do with his son's dealings? And that's what Daniel Goldberg was talking about. It had nothing to do with his son's dealings, and then, well, you know, it's not like he was on the phone with him for all 20 times, or, you know, just because you say hi doesn't mean you're on the phone. Dude.
Right. He might have just been like, you know, talking about the weather.
By the way, I found it. We might get a strike on YouTube, but I don't care. This song is my jam.
My child called me up just the other day. He said, Dad, I need some crack. Can you help me today? And I had lots of cash, but bills to pay. He said, don't worry, Dad, I'll find another way. He was smoking for I knew it, and away he flew, saying, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And Hunter's in the basement with a silver spoon. The hookers and drugs were gonna be there soon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when.
I'll be good and high by then, Dad. Yeah, I'll be good and high by then.
Picking through rugs, smoking anything that even remotely resembled crack cocaine.
I'm very proud of my son.
My son came around just the other day. He said, I got me a deal where we can both get paid. Can I trade on your name? I said, sure, okay. Will anyone know? He said, no, no way. And as he walked away, he looked kind of dim and said, I'm gonna be like him, yeah. You know I'm gonna be like him.
He's fixed it. He's worked on it.
And Hunter's in the basement with a silver spoon. Ukrainian bribes were gonna be there soon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when.
I'll put aside your 10%, Dad. I'll always have your 10%.
He said, honey, what are you doing? I said, Dad, I'm fine. He said, you're not fine.
I know how to game the system. Come on. Come on.
Well, he came from Kiev just the other day. Had a smile so big I just had to say, son, I'm proud of you. How's our cash supply? He nodded his head and said,
great big guy, but what I really need, Dad, is to borrow the car keys.
You can take the vet, but watch the boxes, please. And Hunter's in the basement with a silver spoon. Classified papers all over the room. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when.
I'm getting good and high again, Dad. I'm getting good and high again.
He pointed out the reason why he regrets it is he didn't anticipate that thugs like Giuliani would use it to, in fact, try to embarrass his father. Yes, they are. They're fat thugs. Come on. This guy is a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
I stole an election and my son moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said, you owe some cash, I want my cut today. He said,
calm down, Dad, you know it's on the way. But my laptop is gone and now it's on you. And now we're both really screwed, Dad. And now we're both gonna be screwed.
I don't know who did it, but it's Eric Spacklin is the Twitter account. Oh, it says from Truth Now. Parody, but so close to the truth. So Truth Now on Twitter is who put it out. But I saw that and I howled. And the fact that they used the actual like quotes from them was great. I was smoking everything, you know. Why does he whisper like his dad? Like why what the You're on mute, Jack.
Oh. Said I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah, he was I was trying to find anything I can and just smoke it like you know. It's just they're just so, if you don't see how they are just above everybody else and they don't care. They've been in politics for so long, nobody cares.
It's so weird though too, like how the media is talking about Hunter Biden, like the person, not like the dealings and different things like that, you know, but they're trying to convey that he's younger than he is, like that he's not almost 60. Like they're talking about him like he's Barron's age. Like,
and you saw how they treated Barron.
I know. But it's just very weird how they're trying to, you know, talk about him like he's a little kid who didn't know any better. Like anything that happened with like the Burisma, he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
He wasn't a young kid, you know, just some young whippersnapper trying to learn the ropes. And then he just got into this evil world of addiction.
He had kids of his own.
Of coke and crack.
Yeah. It's just... like, yeah, they do. They really talk about him like he's a little kid. I mean, they were trying to go after Donald Trump Jr. because he hunted. And they're like, look how gross and disgusting he is for hunting. You know, they go on these retreats and they pay millions of dollars. You know,
remember when they were talking about the Hunter Biden laptop to begin with at the first, they're like, well, let's just keep the kids out of it. As the kids, he's 50. Like, what are you talking about? He's not a child. And I saw that from the beginning, that they keep talking about him like that. But I wanted to bring something up because I just saw it. I saw it while I was at the picture. You know, the picture of him with his before he got his teeth done.
Yeah,
I know he's wearing a mask, right?
Yeah. So
was that picture taken in between like 2020 and 2021?
I don't know because he's at a dentist, and don't they wear? I don't know.
The dentists wear masks. The patients don't.
Yeah, maybe. It could.
So I'm just trying to think, like, how did that picture get out? I'm sorry. This is my rabbit hole mind thinking.
Go for it.
And I was just thinking, so, like, didn't the FBI have Hunter Biden's laptop in, like, what, 2018?
2015. Yeah. It was like, I thought it was almost at the beginning of Trump's presidency where they had it.
No, it was towards the end. No, it was like they had it for a few years before people start talking about it. They had it, so it had to be like 2018 or 2019. So if Hunter Biden, if that was one of the pictures that got released from like the dump or whatever, right? Because like I'm sure he wouldn't post that himself on like Insta. But
really?
You never know.
Really? This dude was taking videos of like it was like an old man with a new camera. Like, oh, look at this! Look at all the crack I got here. Hey, honey.
Sent it to my whole address book.
Like he was literally taking videos of him with a prostitute. Like, we're good, right? Yeah, I'll give you the 10 grand. We're good. Like, you know, you're fine. I didn't do anything to hurt you, really. Like, it's like. You videoing this, dude? Like literally, it's the kids nowadays who videotape their crimes and then put it on social media and then expect not to get caught, and those kids go to jail. But you know, poor little tiny Hunter Biden,
tiny little Hunter. Well, no. So then I was thinking though, so if that was like more of a recent photo that someone had released or whatever, who had his laptop or the hard drive or whatever. But the actual, or it might have been someone who had the actual laptop itself. Like if it was a Mac or an Apple, like and it was connected to all of his Apple devices, wouldn't they be able to see in real time what he was messaging, taking pictures of, different things like that? Like,
Yep.
So there might be a trove of other stuff that's like recent stuff that nobody knows about yet.
He thinks he's infallible, so it doesn't matter. Like literally, he looked like he was doing blow the other day when he was, you know, that whole thing when he turned around and they were after they found the blow in the White House, like, and he was like he doesn't care. He's one of those rich kids that don't care because there's nothing gonna happen to him. There's nothing gonna happen to him, so he does not care about consequences. And for people defending it, like normal, regular people defending that, it's just blackpilled me again. I just got blackpilled.
I told you. Remember, I told you we had to talk about. Yeah. You go through the. Don't worry, you'll get white pilled again soon.
It'll come back around. But it's like
it's a lifelong struggle.
Oh God, it is. It so is because, and the fact that the same people who cry injustice for Black and Brown, Indigenous, BIPOC, LMNOP, MCIA, you know, all those people are defending Hunter Biden.
An old white man, because he is an old white
man. Yeah. Who they just, you know, Joe just finally said, oh yeah, I have 7 grandkids. Listen, Joe doesn't even know what the fuck he is. You got to stop bothering him about the 7th grandkid. He's had 6 grandkids for how long? His own son was banging his dead brother's girlfriend. Would you like me to repeat that?
No, his dead brother's wife.
Wife, sorry. His son was banging his dead brother's wife. Yeah. You don't think there's problems in the family? But, you know, Eric Trump really and all them are bad. You think? That must have made like awkward like Christmases before Bo passed away. Like, you know, it's just so I don't get it. I really don't. And I wish, you know, part of me wishes that I could. Part of me wishes I could be like, yeah, no, it's totally perfectly fine. But I don't know.
It's just not.
It's just so.
I will say, there, the media is putting out subtle hints out there of a Gavin Newsom going to be taken over. Oh yeah, there was a here's one. I was on Drudge Report, and here's a MSN article talking about Gavin Newsom running for president. His raising strategy signals White House aspirations. So, yeah. So there's thinking that they're saying that the super PACs are looking like they're gonna start fundraising for Gavin Newsom's. So I just wanted to throw that out there because we're talking about like alternatives to Biden, and I know that I said it's going to get to a point where it's going to be like the first presidential debate between the Democrat nominee and Biden and whoever is the Republican nominee, and then Biden's gonna be like, I can't show up, and they're like, he's got a medical emergency, he can't run anymore, and then they're gonna throw in someone last minute, either Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom.
I don't
know, because they know Michelle. Kamala, it's kryptonite,
dude.
They're like, you just go off in Barbie Land where you are, do what you're doing, and just don't tweet. Here's your staffer. Give the staffer your BlackBerry.
But they talk about Trump being twice impeached. Gavin Newsom was almost thrown out of office. And they're like, no, we'll put him in. And the only reason why is because he's Nancy Pelosi's nephew.
Yeah.
It's the only reason why he's still where he is.
Through marriage. I think it was through marriage, I believe.
Does it really matter at this point?
Well, I know, I always say it all the time. Kimberly Guilfoyle and Gavin Newsom were supposed to be the Kennedys. Again.
But
And then
I
they
mean,
broke up, and he dated an 18-year-old, and everyone said it was weird, so he had to stop doing it.
with the 18-year-old.
Yeah, publicly. Well, because he publicly was dating an 18-year-old. So I'm sure they're like, listen, we're gonna here's your beard, and go out with the 18-year-old in your private time.
I'm trying to look for that Lizzo thing.
Oh. Where did I send it to you all?
Wait, okay. Wait, no, this one's good. Yeah, hold on. I want to play this really quickly. This is one of those defending this one's real. This one of somebody defending Joe Biden. Hunter Biden sold illusions of access to his father, former business partner, tells Congress. But watch these gymnastics.
Kinds have been remarkably candid about saying, and we don't have it yet. And even House Speaker McCarthy last week sort of pushed back against this impeachment inquiry momentum because he was like, look, we don't have evidence to go that far. And as far as Hunter Biden goes, there's no doubt. I mean, it's pretty clear, even those close to the Biden family suggest that some of his behavior was pretty unseemly. That doesn't make it illegal. And it also means we don't know the role that then Vice President Biden may have played. And it seems like no, they haven't proven that he had anything to do with it. They haven't proven that he profited from this at all. Yet maybe he is guilty of turning a blind eye to some of his son's behavior. And we should put this in context. This is a time when Beau Biden, the president's other son, was ill and then dying and then passed away. So perhaps he was not as attentive to what he should have been here. But again, there has simply been no evidence, Gene Robinson, no evidence at all that he was profiting from this or that either of them committed a crime when it came to this. And we hear here from Comer and other Republicans, it's wishful thinking. They're trying to create a scandal when there's no evidence that they have one.
They impeached Trump for a phone call, and they said it was because Joe Biden was a presidential candidate. Yet Joe Biden is trying to get Trump thrown in jail, who's a presidential candidate, and it's fine. But not only that, Joe Biden wasn't thinking very well.
Someone said or tweeted out there like, now you know why they were so pissed about that phone call that Trump had with Zelensky about Burisma.
Yeah, they're trying to create a scandal, or at least the appearance of a scandal, the sort of smokiness of a scandal, and just create that atmosphere without actual evidence and without an actual scandal, because I think it's pretty clear, at least so far, there is nothing there. There is nothing there. You could certainly argue that.
Listen, I'm not a body language expert or a speech expert, but when you do nothing but stutter and there's nothing there, and they keep telling me they said there's nothing there, and they're trying to fire.
At some point, if Hunter Biden put President Biden on the speakerphone for like 20 times, you could certainly ask whether at some point President Biden might have said, hey, quit putting me on speakerphone. Are you having a business meeting? Like, what is that about? But the context is that this was a sort of very fraught and sad time for the Biden family, and we know how important family is to the president. And so, do you hang up on your phone?
I mean, we do know how important family is. He was showering with his granddaughter. We know how important family is.
One big orgy over the Biden estate. It's so gross when you can finally, like, when you start seeing what people are doing. Like, I never really paid attention too much to it at all, but it just keeps getting gross. Like, two things can be true at once. They could have really been having a hard time with what was going on with Beau Biden. That's horrible what happened. Wouldn't wish it upon anybody.
No.
But they could also have been making millions on the side for his treatment, maybe, or just defrauding the United States of America. I mean, bad guys have people that they love too. Like,
I know. Even Vladimir
so-
Putin, you know, he's got family that he loves. He doesn't want to nuke his family, but you know what? He might just nuke everybody. But I found the Daniel Goldman. I mean, it does sound a bit familiar what Daniel Goldman said. I think this is the same thing, but
Doesn't it contradict the president's statement saying that he never talked to any of Hunter Biden business associates? Clearly, he talked, whether it's about the weather or whatever, but he said specifically that he's never talked to them.
can you see the cogs in his head spinning? Can you see it in his face? Like,
It's like, what is it? The Windows.
That's my favorite. With the video with Nancy Pelosi, and she's, good morning. Hi, this is morning. And somebody put that her resetting.
Yeah.
Never talked to them. Doesn't this contradict them?
I don't know what his comment is, and if we're gonna, well, I don't think that's what he said. He never said that he has never spoken to anyone. He said that he had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings. If he says hello to someone that he sees his son with, is he supposed to say, hi, son? Oh, no, I'm not going to say hello to the other people at the table or the other people on the phone. It's kind of a preposterous premise to think that a father should not say hello to people that the son is at dinner with, and that is literally all the evidence is.
I will say that, okay, y'all might hate me for that, and I really don't care. I will say this. I can understand people being like, I don't understand what the big deal is. He can't control who his father is. Like, you know, just the same as, like, I'm sure Don Jr. has gotten a lot of deals and stuff in business just because of who he is and who his dad is. You know, I get that. But where the disconnect is if you're in a business meeting and your father calls you, why don't you say, hey, Dad, can I call you back? I got some important shit I'm about to do.
Or he just happens to be at the same place where Hunter's having his business meetings. Because that's what Daniel was saying.
Hunter
Like,
Biden going on Air Force 2 to go meet with Chinese diplomats and shit like that.
There's no proof. You didn't have proof for the fucking indictments. You had no proof for the first one. You had Adam Schiff making things up, and you still indicted him. There was
these notes. I've got it right here.
And then when they go, yeah, it was not true. Well, you know, what am I supposed to do? The intelligence agency told me that it was all on the up and up, so it's not my fault. Bullshit. You are part of that intelligence agency. You are part of that committee that gets to see what we don't get to see. So you knew this.
Yeah.
You knew this was.
And here's the thing, though, too, is that, like, when Joe Biden was vice president, he had Secret Service and legal counsel. You would, if he was doing something, you think they would be like, yo, you probably should knock it off, right?
You shut up. You shut up. But once again, Donald Trump was not the vice president of the United States who sets policies and goes around and does. Joe Biden was. I mean, if Donald Trump Jr. got something because his dad's name, it's because his dad was a businessman and they, you know, and they were in business together.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
And, you know, Obama was the one that appointed him to be over Ukraine. And that's what Dan Bongino is talking about. I listened to Tori Says too, and she's been talking about too, is like, yeah, you're getting these slow drips about like Biden, but doesn't it all lead to Obama?
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
Doesn't it lead to Obama's $15 million mansion on the water when he says we got climate change and the water's gonna rise in the next couple of years?
Oh, girlfriend, don't even get me started on that shit.
The mental gymnastics that these people do to protect this guy, and it's like, oh, well, you know, what is he supposed to do? Not say hi at a dinner? How about you? He said it. He said that he never.
Did you mean to say pregnancy?
Yeah, she did. She's...
I'm dead. All right. I'm dead.
You're thinking about Michelle. Or no, Michelle neither. Speaking of Michelle, somebody said, have you ever seen a picture of pregnant Michelle? And I was like, yeah, I bet. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it just so happens that Joe 20 times that Joe just happened to be in the same vicinity as his son with the business dealings, yet he said it time and time again. He had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. We should have had you on today.
Oh my God.
I mean,
work hard for that communism.
Yeah. But it's just so it's stupid, man. And the fact that people are that it's being allowed to happen and people are okay with it. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad, but you know, what are we gonna do? Like,
this is also where we are right now too.
What kind of hamster are we like?
So Fulton County Sheriff says we'll have a mugshot if former President Trump is indicted locally. So the Fulton County Sheriff, Pat Labatt, like Labatt Blue, says his office is preparing for the possibility of former President Donald Trump being indicted in Fulton County. He said that if indicted by a grand jury, the former president will be treated like anyone else accused of a crime, including fingerprints and a mugshot. Unless somebody tells me differently, we are following our normal practices, and so it doesn't matter your status, you'll have a mugshot ready for you.
That just is whatever that is supposed to be, and that is what I have to say about that. And if you don't like that, then you can take your that and go screw that right there, Kelly. But I guess who's going to be not the sheriff too long then if that happens? Because if Fulton County, it's a sheriff, so they're elected.
Yeah. You know what, though? It might be the best thing for him then. Everybody's been waiting for that mugshot, left and right for a mugshot. People are like, I gotta get my shirt press ready.
It's not wrong. It's not normal to tell a criminal they're getting arrested before they're getting arrested.
Yeah.
It's like, no, if you're when you get arrested, you're getting a mugshot. It's like, wait a minute, I haven't even been charged or anything like that.
And it's gonna be for another phone call too.
Yeah,
with what's it? Is it Roethlisberger? I don't know. I keep
saying Roethlisberger.
I always remember whenever time I think of Ben Roethlisberger, I always think of I saw a meme and it's like of all these like girls that have like football quarterbacks like names on their underwear, and it's like Manning that, and then it's Roethlisberger and it's a big chick with like huge underwear on.
He's a big dude though too. That dude's head is just enormous.
Oh,
Big Ben.
Man.
I think they call him Big Ben for another reason. Hey, Big Ben.
Because he's really tall.
Yeah, he's got big shoes.
He's got a big personality.
That's what women are calling it nowadays, a personality.
A personality.
A person, yeah. But yeah. I just, it's just this is all just to try to get sound bites and just to try to say something. Like it's not there's no context to any of it. There's no context to any of it. Even the 4 things he's being indicted on, there's no context. They're just doing whatever they can to try to bankrupt him and try to smear his name so that way people can just go because they still say it. They still go the twice impeached. You never hear anybody go, "Hey, Bill Clinton, the impeached president." Nobody says that.
Right.
Nobody ever says.
No one says that Bill Clinton should have an asterisk by his presidency.
No.
And all his presidency is known for is blowies in the Oval Office nowadays.
Yeah, that's it. It's a blue dress and Monica Lewinsky. That's all his, and him playing the jazz on Arsenio Hall. That's all he's known for.
He's a great sax player.
But I mean,
my dad plays the sax too. Okay,
oh
so
God.
He was like once.
Does he like cigars?
My dad used to be a Democrat, and so he was like, once I saw Bill Clinton play the sax, I knew he was cool, and I was like, yeah, okay, Dad, you're so cool. But it was cool back in the 90s.
What'd your dad think of his cigar trick?
I don't want to know. Disappear.
You want to see the pencil disappear? You want to see the cigar? But yeah, nobody ever says anything about Clinton's impeachment. They never say that, they just, they say he got a blowy in the White House, but that's about it. And the fact that they go, Bill Clinton was impeached for getting a blowy in the White House is like, that's not what he got impeached for. He got impeached for lying about it. He got impeached for lying about it. And why do you think Trump did not go on the stand? Because they would take whatever he said, because they did it for years, and change what he said into whatever they wanted. I bought a blue dress.
That's why you see with the E. Jean Carroll situation, and you saw his deposition for that. He wasn't found guilty of doing anything like of rape or anything.
Yeah, no,
he wasn't. It was like the defamation of
sexual assault. Yeah. He was held liable for sexual assault because he was just saying she's ugly.
Yeah.
He just kept calling her ugly. And not for nothing. By the way, that Bergdorf's was across the street from Trump Tower. Why would he go to Bergdorf's and do that when he could just invite her over to Trump Tower and try to, have his way with her in it was
Maybe
just
he was embarrassed by her. I don't know.
Listen, I heard a story
there's
about
people that you take to the penthouse and others you take to the motel. She was a motel kind of gal.
He could have taken her to the janitor's closet and the basement floor or whatever.
It was too nice.
It was fine. But yeah, he basically got in trouble because he called her a pig. Like a bunch of nah, she's ugly. Nah, I'd never do that. I'd never do her. Yeah, and that's basically what he was found liable.
He said it to the lady at the deposition. She's like, I wouldn't do you either, or something. I was like, oh my God. It's like, all right, this guy gives 0 fucks.
Yeah, but saying it was for a BJ is funny. Yeah, it is. But I mean, it's so, dude, he's hilarious. I'm sorry. He is hilarious. If you take the the people out of the situation or whatever it is, if you feel emotionally attached to the person, like he's hilarious in the things he says, and he's quick with the comebacks. Yeah, she's a pig. Oh, you mean Rosie O'Donnell? It's like he's got
no, only her.
Because you'd be in jail. And that's another thing. Like, they're trying to get him with all this. Like, we were talking about yesterday, where now they're trying to indict his poor gardener,
Oh, yeah. The groundskeeper at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, for erasing things. Meanwhile, they were just like, he made this statements, and then Hillary Clinton got away with it. So he was just like, I guess I can get away with it too if I'm doing it. So I'll do it. And
what it comes down to is he's getting in trouble for talking shit. Like,
that's all it is. Look at the indictments. It's all it is. It's just talking.
He can say it, but we're not happy that he said it and other people agreed. Like,
it's so. It's like when someone
if it
calls
wasn't so stupid, I'd be crying.
I know. It's like when somebody calls the hot chick like Oh, so remember, it's like remember in White Chicks when they're doing the dances and they're trying to go back and forth at each other, and you call it a niçoise salad, and nobody laughed. And that's exactly what it's like. It's like you have no comeback to what he says, and you're like, well, he should get in trouble now. He said it. He said he was mean to me. Like, God.
Oh, I have to say though, it's so funny how the media is trying to like beef up like Jack Smith as like a man, like as a man. This guy who's done 100 triathlons, man, he is like totally gonna bring Trump down. I'm like, and then someone's like, "What the fuck? That has that have to do with that thing?"
Where did he
I
get
had
that?
a ham sandwich yesterday. Like, and I paid my bills. What are we talking about here? Like,
It's the same thing as Biden. You want to do push-ups? We can do push-ups. You want to see if I'm physically fit? Let's do push-ups. Like, is that that's the school that Jack Smith that they're trying to do with Jack Smith? I just
yeah.
yeah, I could do triathlons. No, it has nothing to do with triathlons. Is he competent? And from what I heard, he's not.
I know someone who got a gold medal from a decathlon, but we don't want to talk about that. Like, is he trying to tell us something? Oh my god, I'm getting too delirious. I gotta stop.
Delirium is funny.
Oh man.
But yeah, from what I heard, Jack Smith is dumb, like really dumb. Like he's like he's had a bunch of his stuff turned over. Like it wasn't even like they found the person or whatever. They did it. It was done, and then most of it got turned over. So like they're just finding these Ponzi's to do this stuff, and it's just the timing is impeccable, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm kind of wondering if this is the mindset. Like with Jack Smith's other like indictments and people that he's gone after, that ultimately it turned into nothing or it got overturned or Trump actually pardoned one of the guys that he went after. If it's going to be one of those things where they're either hoping that people lose interest in it and they just used, oh, he was indicted, but don't follow up on it later. Like they're going to try to bury it later. Or they're just like, okay, well, let's do it and just like hope for the best. And like, they're going to convict him.
To be honest with you, I think it's both. I think they're trying to throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. And if he does, once again, if the man goes to jail, you're going to have a lot of people who are in the middle who are going to see through all of this bullshit and vote for him from jail if he goes to jail. And I'm once again, it's and the other part is it's a distraction. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's a distraction. Well, like Bongino said,
about the Biden administration trying to pass. They are pushing through something. I know. They're trying to push through like an executive order saying that manufacturers of cars aren't going to be able to make combustion engines by 2032. Like all this other little shit's going on. You got BRICS, that whole stuff going on. Stuff that we have been talking about on here for months. And now finally everyone's like, oh yeah, BRICS this and BRICS that. And I'm like, y'all didn't even know.
Yeah. Everybody was like, oh, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then Mizia's like, it can't happen. BRICS to announce membership of new nations at summit, citing major shift in global order. Countries that have formally applied to join the alliance: UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bangladesh, Venezuela, Argentina, Indonesia, Ethiopia, Bahrain, Mexico, Nigeria, Algeria, Egypt, and Iran. There's no money here, is there? There's no money there. There's no money there. I don't know if there's money there. There's no money there. You know, none here, none. Oh, wait, what? Wait a minute.
Jenna, cutting a little close there, darling.
Wait a minute. Mexico? But they send all their people here. Like, why? they're not gonna. There's no money here either. By the way, none. It's like you said, we've been talking about it for months and months, and nobody has listened. And now,
yeah, it's been rumored about Saudi Arabia going into BRICS for a while. And now all of this is coming out. Everything that's going on in South Africa too. Like it's like a shitstorm. It's about to rain down on us.
Well, yeah, it's not good. But listen, at least we're not in Lizzo's camp. She made us eat bananas out of sex workers' vaginas. Lizzo's facing bombshell lawsuit from backup dancers.
I like how I told you guys about that last night, and I was like, okay, see you, bye. I just like dropped the bomb and left. Wait, what?
But holy crap. Like, for real?
Oh, yeah,
for
they
real?
banned light bulbs, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was...
But that Lizzo thing, yeah, get into it. Like, what? There's more
So,
on it.
Quigley often made comments deriding people who engaged in premarital sex, knowing that some members of the dance cast did not share her views. Ms. Quigley, I guess that's Lizzo, also had a party trick in...
Use your words.
I'm trying to. I am so trying to, but this is... Party trick in which she would simulate oral sex on a banana in front of the rest of the dance cast. These instances were always impromptu and made plaintiffs uncomfortable.
What is wrong with people? Yeah.
It's just
like, you gotta read the room, bro.
You really do. You're like, I mean, male backup dancers probably, but some of the female dancers, I don't know.
Oh my god.
I'm speechless. I am so speechless when it just comes to these people. Stop listening to celebrities. Stop. Please. I don't care either side. I don't care if you're rah-rah that Scott Baio likes Trump. I don't care if you're rah-rah that then Dan Bongino likes Trump, whatever, or whoever. Stop listening to celebrities. She should have used an eggplant. I mean, that's wrong in more ways than one, but okay. But yeah, stop listening to them because they are just diluted. They're delusional themselves. They're
Yeah.
What world is it okay for you to just simulate oral sex? Hey, guy, like if nobody else wants to listen, or nobody, if you know people don't want this. I'm so drained.
I know.
It's just, yeah. Well, I mean, there's kind of a pseudo celebrity, influencers are now. When
yeah.
And I forget who I was talking to. Did we bring up that, like, possibly that some of the influencers, were in January 6th? That some of those influencers were in January 6th and now possibly have a job at the White House now?
What?
Yeah. Supposedly, some of these influencers were at January 6th and were influencing people to go in, and possibly are some of the people that now, when Joe Biden brought some... Oh, we talked about it. Yeah, me and Kelly talked about it on Friday, I believe. Yeah, now these influencers could be... I'm not saying it's 100% true, but I mean, do the math, and not the racist one, the regular math, old math. These people could probably be the people that are now sitting in the White House, with the social media influencers wing of the White House. Like
I'm not surprised. I'll be honest with you, I'm not surprised. It doesn't surprise me. It's like it's considering that there is a social, like a social. It's not really so. I wouldn't say so. Like, what is it? The social influence wing.
Yeah,
they have like those two young dudes. They're like, yo,
Harry and his boy, fucking Chris or Chet, whatever his name is. Yeah, but it's also that girl under the desk and all those people who are just staunchly.
Is that a Monica Lewinsky reference? I'm really concerned.
Listen, she does. Let's just say she wouldn't do anything with Bill Clinton or anybody with a real wiener. Okay.
What about a fake one? Like,
probably. She's gotten to town on some of those. She has gone to town on some of those. But yeah, like it's
an innuendo. I get
it. She put it in somebody's endo. Anyway, so how do you not see these things? Like, why would you listen to these people? You can hear what they say, and then do your own research and see what's up. She was the biggest disappointment because she was really good at first, and spin around and started. Yeah, she was very good at giving facts, and then once again, the epitome of what we talk about here, money.
Yeah.
Money changes everything. Money will change how you view anything. Look at Caitlin, the dollar store, Dylan Mulvaney used to work for Fox.
Yeah.
She used to work for Fox, and now she works for CNN, and now different. If you give somebody enough money, they will say whatever you want them to say. I'm not saying that I would be adverse to it either, because I'll go, it'll hurt, but I'll look at my bank account and go, Joe Biden's the best president I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my God, I couldn't do it. You're like, Jackie, did you start cutting? Yes, I did. To release my inner pain.
Yeah. But it's all about money, man. And if you don't think, and this is why Marxism, communism, all that stuff will not work. It will work on paper, but look at Chaz, Chop, whatever, all those places where they took over and then started fighting because they wanted to be the leaders. And then there was infighting and all this stuff. So
a lot of people were getting raped. Like, horribly,
and murdered him. They wouldn't let the cops in, or the cops wouldn't even go in there. No, that was it. The cops wouldn't go in there because they weren't allowed to go in there, and people were dying. And then they went and sued the city because the cops didn't do their job.
Yeah, idiots.
What?
Assholes. Yeah. Well, wasn't it? It was like in the Chop. Wait, hon, what was it first? Was it Chaz or was it Chop?
I think Chaz was in Portland and Chop was in Minnesota.
Well, you know what people don't realize? There was actually a Chaz Chop zone in Philadelphia, right around the art museum too. Yeah. My husband would have to go down there all the time, and I would be like, dude, get out of the city, please.
There's still one in Georgia right now. There's still a town. Yeah. Tim Pool was talking about it a couple weeks ago. There's still a place in Georgia that's, there's.
Well, I mean, are they getting along? Is it a commune? Like nobody's like killing people?
I mean, the news isn't talking about it. I mean, I have no idea. I'd have to look a little bit into it, but I know because Tim said it that there's still a place in Georgia that's still like that, And even if they were or they weren't, I guarantee you the local PD would be in with them, where they would just go and do what they want to do, and if somebody gets hurt, they go in there, take the people out, and but
yeah. Remember how we were told no-go zones don't exist?
Actually, that's when I started following Tim Pool when he went out over to Sweden talking about the no-go zones, and it pissed me off because
Mesmo, right?
Huh? Yeah, something like that.
Oh, Malmo.
Yeah, Malmo.
Malmo.
Where they had all the influx of Muslims coming in, and they were talking about no-go zones, and Tim went over there. He was like, well, there really wasn't no-go zones. They're just places we couldn't go. And I'm like, it's a fucking no-go zone then, Tim. What are you talking about? Like, you can't go in there. They don't want the police in there. It's a no-go zone. Just because it's not labeled a no-go zone. Like, what do they have in the beginning of every city? This is a stigma-free zone.
What?
You've never seen that?
No.
Yeah, they will have the name of the city, and under the city, it'll say this city is a non-stigma city. Like, and it's basically like stereotypes. You can't stereotype people in this city, but that's what it was like. It's like, it's not a no-go zone, it's a just don't go zone. Yeah, my DMs are a no-go zone. You're right. But and that's when I really started following Tim, because like he pissed me off. I'm a glutton for punishment. Like when I watch CNN, and I'm like, this motherfucker really is trying to tell me it's not a no-go zone. You can't go in it. And then from then I started listening to him, and then I watched as he slowly transitioned. Yeah, as he transitioned into a better person.
Into Tim Pool.
But like, yeah, it's funny to watch because he was like a big staunch, like what was that in New York City that they had the Wall Street?
Yeah. Occupy
Wall Street. Yeah, they had Occupy Wall Street, and he was there filming and everything like that. And he was a part of Vice, and he was a big part of Vice and stuff like that. And then he left Vice, and then he started kind of changing into what he is now, and he's still a middle of the road guy. I mean, well, he's a middle of the road guy now. He wasn't before. And it's great to watch these people kind of slowly change, and he's the thing I like about it, he's really smart. He is really smart in the way he conducts his interviews with people, and he allows them to talk and hang themselves, and the questions he asks are just so intelligent. But like,
ooh, he got big mad at that girl,
Emma Vigeland.
Yeah, he got. I was like, oh shit,
because she said that his viewers were neo-Nazis, and then she did that.
Oh yeah, she's like, well, what do you say that your program attracts neo-Nazis? He's like,
and then he came back at her. Well, what about your program that does this, and that, and it was talking about this and this guy that did. He's great off the dome. Like I would be like, but your pro, did you guys do something wrong? Because I know you guys did something wrong. But yeah,
no.
And then she does that liberal woman thing where like you just did, like, well, your show is neo-Nazis watch, and then he's like, well, how do you say that? Well, what about this from your show? I don't know anything about that. What do you mean? I'm not, just because Sam said it doesn't mean that I said it. It's just like, you like to get choked, don't you, woman? You like to get in bed. Just kidding.
Well, her and Lizzo are good friends, and she really liked the banana trick.
Apparently. So. She's like, Lizzo, can you make that banana disappear? And Lizzo's like, come here. Let me show you. Bend over, touch your toes.
Deep breath in.
I don't have a prostate.
So someone that's going to be saying goodbye soon. I don't know if you guys heard this, but do you remember the Pittsburgh synagogue shooter.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Trump's fault.
That
It
too.
was it was Trump's fault.
It was the Tree of Life synagogue in 2018. While the guy was sentenced to death today.
Good.
Yeah. Just wanted to throw that out there. And then there was a concerning 911 call today on Capitol Hill that got it evacuated after a bogus active shooter call was made. So it happened in the afternoon.
By the way, we realized that the cocaine gate started as a white substance and they evacuated the White House and the Senate and everything. That's how cocaine gate started. They didn't know this substance and they evacuated everybody. They just evacuate everybody.
Don't worry about it.
It's all false flag shit. It really is. I hate saying those words.
Yeah.
But it's all false flag. Like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying that somebody was banging on my door and said, get out here. And it was an hour before anybody even breached anything. What are you talking about? It was, they were telling, and you were a mile and a half away. Like, what are you talking? By the way, have they ever found the pipe bombers yet? No. Wonder why.
Yeah.
And every once in a while,
well, they tried to ask the FBI, like, listen, between this time and this time, you got all these people. You tracked all these people from January 6th, but you can't track this person down. It was one person in this area at a specific time, and you're telling me you can't do that?
Well, they weren't stumbling, so it wasn't Nancy Pelosi or Maxine Waters, so they know it wasn't either of them two. No, AOC didn't almost die again. We were talking about January 6th when she was like, I'm gonna, somebody was banging on my door and it was, police, and it was just, she's just so dramatic. She said something about being a bartender, and she's like, but can your congresswoman make a coffee martini as good as me? And I'm like, nobody wants their congresswoman making a chocolate coffee martini. Just stop screwing everybody. That's all we care about, literally and figuratively. Stop screwing us all. Like I don't care. Like I don't care. Just stop ruining the country. That's all I care about. All of them. Stop ruining the country.
I'm telling you straight up, in the next 4 to 5 years, her and Matt Gaetz are going to work together, and then there's going to be a scandal, and they're going to have an affair. It's going to happen.
Listen, Matt Gaetz' wife is attractive, but it's all about the power thing. I really
be attracted to that little bit of crazy. He had to go vanilla after everybody brought up his DUIs. He was like, listen, I got to calm down a little bit. He's going to be itching for some crazy at some point. And she's going to be there looking at him like...
They're going to be working late one night. And she's just going to slip into his... Hey, Matt, I got a question for you. Yeah, I got a question for you, too. How you like this desk? Bam! Hey, you want to see...
If it happens, I'm going to be a little bit happy and horrified at the same time.
Besides for a few of them, do you not think that most of them are kind of doing each other's the ones that get along? Like, I don't...
Oh, well, that's why I think, MTG was all over McCarthy. Like, hey, boy, what's up?
Yeah. I just... They're so incestuous there. It's... I don't know, man. They're so fake, all of them. And the premise of that job was to go represent the people. The premise of that job was to have a job. And that's what you did to help the American people. Now it is a full-time job who you give yourself a raise whenever you feel like you need a raise. And give yourself money. I know, jackass. I was being sarcastic. Yeah, whatever. See, this is the way I get treated on Fridays. All these messages that are here, this is how I get treated on Friday. Yeah, it's not their job to just go there and sit there for their entire life. Why is Dianne Feinstein dying in front of our eyes, sitting there? I'm almost 100% certain the people who don't want to leave have the biggest skeletons in their closet, and if they leave, they will get in trouble. If they leave, they will.
That's why they gotta die while they're in office.
It's something. It is something, because why would you still want to be doing that shit? Even Mitch McConnell having a stroke. Yeah, and that too.
Dude.
All of them. All of them. I would want an age limit of 65 to 70 for all offices. Like, once again, it's not supposed to be a lifetime thing. And they go, well, it's not lifetime because people vote them in. When you have a person like Hank Johnson who said Cuba was going to tip over, or Guam was going to tip over, and wins 99% of his constituency, obviously there's a problem. There's a problem.
Yeah. I saw a video today. I don't know why it came to mind. Because it's about an old dude.
Was he shitting his pants?
No, I highly recommend that everyone watches this video from what's the guy's name? The fat electrician.
Yes, the fat electrician. That dude is their podcast. I think it's called the Unsubscribe podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their podcast is pretty cool. But yeah, the fat electrician. That dude's the bomb. I mean, his shirts are great. His merchandise is great. And he's a funny dude. We'd love to have him on. I mean,
oh yeah,
he'd be great.
He's so funny.
He
is. The analogies and stuff that he makes is hilarious.
I saw a video of a dog. I didn't send you that one. Where is it?
But it's about the most gangster politician ever, and it's Cassius Marcellus Clay. And it's a really funny story. It's a really good story, and it's about, he was saying that, so Cassius Marcellus Clay back in the 1800s was a huge 1800s, sorry. Was a big abolitionist, and he came from a prominent family who were slave owners, but he became like this huge abolitionist who would go across the country and give speeches and stuff, and he'd beat people up and kill people, and he had 2 or 3 assassination attempts against him, and he like shivved people. Crazy. He was an ambassador to Russia. Like, I highly suggest you going to the fat electrician on YouTube and watching that video. So anyway.
Yeah, so the other documentary, we're gonna do this here because Rugrat?
Oh. Yeah.
I want a good night.
No.
Aww.
Goodbye, Mom. Bye, babe.
He's so cute.
It's like there's so many F-bombs coming from there. I gotta make sure she's okay.
Oh yeah, the Andrew Breitbart documentary that they have out. Did you know?
Who?
Yeah, apparently they have an Andrew Breitbart documentary.
Who?
I don't remember who has. It might be on Breitbart, but yeah, this is what Kelly was talking about a dog doing something inappropriate.
What the fuck
Oh
are
my
you doing?
God.
I caught you right here again.
Again!
What the fuck are you?
The best part is he opens the door and he stops. Like he's like, shit, I got caught again.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so now I'm hoping that Kelly wasn't wearing headphones and her dog is now screaming at the window because every time her dog hears it, she goes to the window.
That's so funny.
Oh man, yeah. Let me get that. Well, no, I don't want to subscribe. Who are you? Me. I'm me. No, it's a.
You.
Who are you? I have no idea who I am. That's what I'm in search of.
Dude, and when I think of like Breitbart and like even Rush Limbaugh, like I wonder what they would be talking, like what they would be saying today.
Yeah.
About everything that's going on.
I still think that they took Breitbart out. I still
Did
think
you
they
see?
did.
I sent you and Biz that video. It was like a short.
Yeah,
the 11-minute
yeah,
one about
I didn't watch it yet, but I will. But yeah, so this man was awesome.
This is a concerted effort. This is a concerted effort. Politics of personal destruction. Fuck you, John Podesta.
All right, well, you see where I'm coming from.
Okay, yeah.
When I talk, that's because I'm interested in this ongoing, whatever the hell they're doing.
What's in your closet, John Podesta? Big Podesta? Big Soros? Do you want us to play these games? Because we're playing to win.
So yeah, so apparently it's a movie. I guess it says courtesy of the motion picture Hating Breitbart. But Dave Waggle from Slate.com, he's still around and he's still, he's still shelling out bullshit nonsense on Twitter every once in a while. And, I'm just trying to figure out like what you mean by that. I mean, I'm just trying to, I just want to know, like, what do you mean by John Podesta's pedophile? Like, you know what he means. You know what he means. You just want him to fucking say it. You just want to say it,
Crazy.
and so that way you can have, Andrew Breitbart said this. Wow, that man was on another level, and it's a shame. It's a shame. He's the reason why. Oh, that's what we have to do. Did you see the Anthony Weiner PBD interview? Patrick Bet-David?
Some of it. He is a wiener, dude. He was acting like such a wiener.
Oh, I didn't see it. I saw clips of it. I got to watch the whole thing. But I hear from the time it started to the time it ended was nothing but a yell fest. Nothing but a yell fest.
It wasn't that it was a yell fest. It was like he was always posturing. Like he was being a politician. It was gross. It was like nasty. Like it was like, did you not go to jail for like being gross and sending like sex to 14-year-old girls?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, you did, but you're still acting like you're the shit. Okay. Like I couldn't. It was so nasty.
They're delusional. Once again, when your wife is working for the possible president, the next president of the United States, there's nothing you can do that'll get you in trouble.
In 2015, I think, maybe 2016, I think HBO had a documentary called Weiner, and it's about Anthony Weiner. It's interesting. I would suggest watching it. It's been years since I've seen it.
Yeah, I think I heard about that. Yeah, I'll check that out. Listen, this woman right here is so spoiled, and she's she has eight headphones, and she's complaining that she doesn't have the new one that she wanted. And then after the new Bose ones that came out that she wants, she saw another one with like cat ears, and she's like, well, I want that one too. Yeah.
I would want that one too.
Yeah, but the ones that she wants, she's like, well, these were like $200 and something, so but I got them, but I don't have the other ones. You're spoiled. But anyway, but yeah, I remember they did have a documentary about Anthony Weiner, and yeah, he's
beats, man.
Yeah, they're beats, fucking beats. I want to I want to send you 2 beets, like the vegetables, and just have Mitch tie them to your head. Just go here.
Oh my word.
And they were Idolish Sevens ones, not cat ears. Whatever that means. I don't know. But on that note, kids,
it's time to roll out.
Let's wrap this up. I guess Julie got Pretty Patriot got busy, doing something else, but
it's all good. We'll have another time and bring her back on and everything.
Yeah, listen, she's busy. She's a very busy girl, and that traffic sucks.
Mm-hmm. And I think what is next week? Next week we're gonna have Will Johnson back on Wednesday. He's probably won't be on until like 9ish or something because he does have a show that he does every week at 8. So he'll be on around 9:15,
which is fine because
fine with me.
Listen, having Will on, I love when we show people things, and I hope we can show Will something new again.
I know. And this time when I messaged him, he wasn't like, who's this weirdo messaging me? He's like, oh, I know who she is. I'll definitely come back on. So yes.
Kelly wants you on the show. She was talking about. She was talking. I think she mentioned it last week or something like that. Or she's probably mentioned it a couple times. I half listened, because she's already tired me out by the end of the show, trying to make me look dumb. But
dude, it'll just be us talking the whole time. We'll be like, all right, peace, see you later.
Yeah,
bye.
I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna sit back and just suck on my electronic wiener the whole time. But yeah, so I can't wait to have Will Johnson. He's such a cool dude. He's such a cool dude.
He is a cool dude.
And we have to get Gio back. We have to start getting some people back. We got to get Spike back if he ever decides to get his stuff together.
We gotta have. Yep, we gotta get Lectern guy Adam back on.
Yes.
Dave Bondi again, because that was great.
I couldn't believe his wife. He said his wife was watching and she thought it was great. We gotta get Zan back on. We have to get.
Yeah,
Zan
I want to
back
meet
on.
him so bad.
We have to. Zan is an extraordinary person. That dude is. Oh, I could just listen to him talk forever. And I love the fact that he comes on here, like, cause I was watching him with another interview and he was in his jacket the whole time. When he comes on here, he's just like, all right, we done? Yeah. Oh, this is just, all right, let's go. Let's talk. Let's have fun, guys. And I love that. But yeah, so we have a couple, good guests coming up in the next couple weeks. And so you can, catch us back here next Tuesday at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Oh, I got that one finally. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, you can find me on Fridays with that person down there, the Unbroken Podcast, aka Smelly Kelly, on our podcast. We don't know either. On Fridays at 8 Central, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, whatever. And then you can find me and Mama J again this Sunday.
Yes.
On the Weekend Hangover.
It's a double feature this week.
Yeah. And we will be talking about, normal just reality TV and
we have to nail down
what we're gonna talk about.
What specific one we're gonna talk about, but we'll find something.
Yeah.
And if any of y'all have any suggestions, just let us know either in the comment sections or on Twitter, where you can find me at Suburban Mama 1, Suburban Mama 1, the number 1, that is. And then you can find Davey at
MW Troublemaker on Twitter. I have an Insta bio on there, and you can find all my other stuff on there too. You can also catch. Also, we don't know either podcast. We don't know either pod on Twitter for mine and Kelly's podcast and Weekend Hangover. We now have a Twitter account. It's just look up Weekend Hangover. It should be WKEND Hangover on Twitter, and we'll be going live there. So,
yeah, and then I'm gonna be live with Biz and Jack, Captain Jack, tomorrow night for the Two Jacks One Scotch podcast on Rumble, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. Yep.
I don't.
It
I
is
don't
what
know.
it is.
I don't know which one is the outro.
Oh no!
No, that's Two Jacks One Scott's outro. I think it's this one. All right. And with that, we will see you. I don't know what she said. I'm not gonna look. We'll see you next week.
No. Bye, y'all.
Bye.